New Vitamin Water Zero Sugar Pineapple Passion Fruit is packed with vitamins. Just like the amount of peas we packed in that sentence. It's packed like your tote bag. The one you stole from your ex. Or your overpriced half a studio apartment. Or extra rushed rush hour traffic. Packed like your calendar. Triple booked at 5, of course. Grab a Vitamin Water. Did we mention it's packed with vitamins?
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the Age of Jeremy. My name is Jeremy Quintanilla. I am the host of this show, and I'm super excited for you to be here. You might remember me from such businesses as 3T Warrior Academy, as Merlin, the smartest way to track your crypto, from Age of Radio, Q Financial, Freedom Insurance, just to name a few. If you're brand new to this show is all about my business adventures and side quests. If you are a regular follower of the show, you might be thinking, well, this isn't usually how the show starts out. And I'm going to explain why after I get over some formalities. And those formalities are, make sure that you follow me everywhere at Age of Jeremy, except on X, it's at Age of Jeremy Q. Also, join me on my Insights and Updates Instagram channel. I have been behind on that, along with this podcast, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. We're not going to go into a news article if you're familiar with the regular format, and I'll tell you why in a minute. And then usually, if you're brand new to this episode, usually at this time we would go into a news article that I think is relevant for individuals to know about what's going on either in the economy, with investments, or in other news that I think is really relevant. But to get us started, the reason why I'm not doing any of that is because I have been super busy. I do have another show that I do called Mercury. It's a podcasting news and a pop culture show. It is a live stream that I do most Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. And 2 weeks ago, we spent the weekend in Tucson Comic Con, had a very great time interviewing some amazing people, from the owner of Tucson Comic Con, Brian Polito, who's also the owner of Coffin Comics. We were also able to have guest hosts such as Jinx from Cause Talk Live, also Joey from the Geek Collective. I also had my friend Chuck there, as well my friend Alex, talking about his Arizona Backyard Barbecue. We gave away a Nintendo Switch. We had a Mario Kart World Race, and I'm really excited about where that specific show is going. So I would love for you to go and follow it. You can go to YouTube at Age of Radioverse. You can also go to X at Age of Radioverse. We're bigger on YouTube. And the show also goes out on my X feed at Age of Jeremy as well, and my YouTube channel at Age of Jeremy. I have been really focused a lot on different aspects of my specific brand, the shows that I am doing. And unfortunately, as I was doing a lot of that, I haven't been able to make a show here for a couple of reasons. One, I've been looking at getting some new software to actually do the recording of, and also to get some pro software of the software that I used previously. And I wanted to test this out, which is what I'm doing today, on the new software, which I'll talk about in a moment because I think it's important, especially if you're making content. The other reason is because the weekend after Tucson Comic Con, we went to our Revive retreat. I got back from that last week, and I just haven't had time to sit down and make these recordings, and I do apologize. One of the things that have helped make myself successful, and Coach JV, my business partner, has been consistency and discipline, and I have just had so much stuff going on with all of the businesses that this kind of fell to the wayside. Also working on trying to get some live interviews for this show as well, that will be streamed to my YouTube channel at Age of Jeremy and then re-uploaded to this podcast. So again, check out YouTube at Age of Jeremy. But I wanted to talk and get an episode out because content creation is so important. One of my favorite companies is Yamaha. It's a Japanese company. You might know them for their recreational vehicles, but they also actually do musical instruments, and it started off as a piano manufacturer, and they also own a company called Steinberg's, which is some of the best software in my opinion. I use Cubase, which is the software that I've used up until right now to do the recording of it. I edit CJV's podcast on Cubase as well, and I'm going to be going into some music making with Cubase. Also, eventually I'll probably get Avid and some other software, really focused on a lot of software management and using different kinds of software and going deeper into it. But I really wanted to dive deep into this product that I had, which is called Wavelab Cast 2. And it's a middleman between some great software called Wavelabs, which is mastering software for music and audio packaging. And so if you're not familiar with the recording process, you'll go and you'll record the music or the whatever it is you're doing. You'll do some post stuff into it in something like Cubase, or in this case, I'll be doing my podcast in Wavelab Cast 2. But then what you would do is, once that's done, you would go and master it to make sure like all the sound is good and equal, for I guess an easy way to explain it, across all of the tracks. And so a lot of the times with software packaging, they have packages that are for like beginners, which the Steinberg's uses Elements, I think is what they call theirs, like Cubase Elements, Wavelab Elements. And then they have their like Pro stuff that's called Pro. Now Cubase has a middleman called Artist. And I went from Elements to Pro to do some music production. And Wavelabs Cast is kind of like the middleman between Wavelabs Element and Wavelabs Pro, because this lets you actually create the content, like the audio content specifically, the podcasting, and then you're able to like do mastering to it as well. And I'm hoping to kind of up my audio quality on my podcast, and then also to, we'll be recording not only some live interviews. I'll probably want to do some just specific podcast interviews, but I really want to get more into interviewing, which is one of the reasons why I've been studying and going very hard into our Mercury show, because we'll be doing I do a lot of interviews live. I'll be doing more interviews at UWuCon in October in Mesa, Arizona. And so it's really important to me to kind of go deeper and get better at these. Over the last, couple of months, I've been thinking, I haven't really been diving deep into my own craft as much. So I kind of set some goals for myself to get better at rhythm by practicing more percussion instruments and drumming instruments. And then also to dive deeper into audio engineering, because at the end of the day, music is my greatest passion and something that I have kind of neglected for many, many years. Now, I'm very, very fortunate, very happy, and very, I guess fortunate and grateful would be the right words. I'm very grateful for my life. I'm very wealthy because of my businesses and partnerships. And so I'm very thankful for that. But with that wealth, I'd really like to go deeper into my own crafts, which is music and finances and software and engineering and things of that nature, the things that I really love, anthropology, philosophy, which I've talked a lot about on the Lo-Fi. And so because of that, I really wanted to try this Wavelab Cast 2. The other reason why I wanted to talk about it is because I really want to encourage you to go deeper into software for yourself. And I think there's other softwares out there that we could try and test. One of the things that I will say that's kind of difficult with Steinberg's products sometimes is there is a learning curve that goes along with it. And that learning curve is, understanding the layout, understanding all the stuff that you can do it because they're so powerful. For instance, recording in something like what I'm recording in right now, Wavelab Cast 2, is probably much more difficult than doing Audacity. It's also more difficult than, say, just going into a StreamYard or a Zoom and having a conversation and recording it and do a bunch of, work in post. But I'm looking at like the layout and the some of the options that are available here, and this is it looks like it's really powerful. Again, right now, all I'm doing is just doing the recording part, but it looks like you have a lot of like features that can make it easy to make sound come out really, really good if you are doing a podcast. And it also has editing features. So if you did do something in, say, StreamYard, or you did do something in another software, you could export the file, bring it into Wavelab Cast 2s, editor and then go ahead and make the changes that you need to make or do the work that you need to do in post. Or you could, export it maybe into Cubase and do that as well. And so I just encourage that. One of the things that I always say to kind of take a step back, I always tell people just to get started and start making the tweaks along the way to make it better. You have to get started first for content, and it's so important for businesses and individuals to be doing content, not only because they get to share their voice and take advantage of, their right to freedom of speech, but it's also a way for you to build a niche. It's a good way to build a newsletter list or an emailing list, a phone list. There are lots of great options available to you inside of your ability to market things from doing some type of content where you're also educating people. And so as you start to do that, I just encourage you to look at the landscape of the tools that are around you to make that, content better. If you look at where we started with this show specifically from many years ago, from back in 2018 to where it's at now, it gets better every year. Again, it's not a thing that I can put, as much time into as I do to my 3T Warrior Academy business. It's something that I'm continuously adding time to my brand to make it better as I move forward. But again, you can see over the years the changes and the tweaks that I've done to kind of make this podcast better. And you can definitely see those changes and the growth when you look at Mercury, because Mercury was originally started from just a live that I did to my phone. Then we started using StreamYard. Now we're working on bringing in, exterior people to talk and show things and to do secondary interviews through the StreamYard software. Eventually we might maybe get a different software and maybe use Streamlabs. I don't know. But again, right now, StreamYard is the thing that we're working on, and you should always be working to make your product better. And so I encourage you to check out Wavelab Cast 2. Again, it looks like it has some easier functionality to add audio in, to crossfade that audio. And those are kind of the things that I'm looking for to kind of really up my podcast game and to be able to make these single episodes even better than I did before, and to figure out how to do other episodes as I move forward. The only thing that I think for like me, because I'm not in like a studio setting and having people come in, for me, Wavelab Cast 2 doesn't seem like it's going to be like a main software to record episodes on when I'm doing like field work. One of the things that I love is the H6. There's also the H1N. There's also a bunch of Zoom Lab, not the Zoom company, like the business company, like the calling software, but Zoom Lab is a Japanese company that makes hardware. It's what I'm recording through right now, my interface. It's a Zoom L8. And so I love using their field recording. You can use shotgun mics when you do those as well to get really good audio, and then you can do a lot of it in post and say something like Cubase. But the point is that you dive deeper into your content creation. There are a great amount of tools out there that can help make it a better.
If you thought goldenly breaded McDonald's chicken couldn't get more golden, think Golder, because new sweet and smoky special edition gold sauce is here. Made for your chicken favorites at participating McDonald's for a limited time.
Hey, business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 125,000 bonus miles for a limited time through October 29th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends October 29th, 2025.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. With school out, summer is the perfect time to teach our kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. Greenlight is a debit card and the #1 family finance and safety app used by millions of families, helping kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents can send their kids money and track their spending and saving, while kids build money confidence and skills in fun ways. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Spotify. That's greenlight.com/Spotify.
I want to talk a little bit about marketing. Marketing, in my opinion, is the most important part of a business. That and probably the chief revenue officer, but I think that they go hand in hand. They're tandem. And I've really been focusing on the lead generation part. One of the hardest things, in my opinion, is getting leads. Leads is hands down one of the hardest things to do for any business, especially getting good leads that are, leads that you can nurture pretty well and hopefully get them over the finish line to purchase. And so a lot of that has to do with like the funnel of marketing, which starts with awareness, and then a nurturing piece of it, and then eventually getting the sales. I'm not going to go into the whole funnel part of it right now. There's some other episodes that I have done in the past that have talked more about that full funnel. If you don't know, I went to school for master's in business administration with a specialization in marketing. Marketing and finance, in my opinion, are the two most I guess I wouldn't say that. I say marketing is like the most important part of a business. In my opinion, I also think it's the thing that generates obviously the revenue, which is what you need to create a business, or to at least not create a business, but to get a business, being able to last for a long time. And so for me, those are the two specializations that I enjoy. And I, have Age of Radio, which is essentially an advertising type of business. We sell advertising space. And so one of the things that's always been difficult for me is to get good leads for Age of Radio. And so one of the processes that we have is, I'm going to tell you what the process is that we're using. And I encourage you to kind of utilize this process because this is the way in which leads can be generated. And for the most part, we use the same concept across all of our businesses. So the number one thing that you have to frickin' create is an email list, a phone list, and an address list. Those are more important than followers on social media. The email list, the phone list, and the frickin' physical address list is so important because at the end of the day, TikTok's going to be sold probably to Larry Ellison at Oracle in some capacity. It may go under after that, so you could lose all of your followers. X has changed from Twitter. Some people say X is doing well. I think some of the things that they have done has been good, but from a business standpoint, I don't think it's really being ran that well. And so that's important because if those businesses go away, then you aren't going to have your clients anymore, like your lead list, essentially, right? If they go away, you lose all of that to send call to actions too. And so that's why sending a call to action to get the lead list and finding leads is so important because you can nurture them over time. And one of the things that we are trying to do right now is we have redone all of our ads for our ad inventory that we sell for Age of Radio. We've redone them. We have some split testing that we're going to be doing with some of the ads. We have copy for those ads, thanks to Atoshi, our ad sales / business development officer that I've hired, that's working with me and doing a great job. In regards to that, we still have a lot to do as relates to getting, more people on the books, getting them to have calls with us. And a lot of that can be done through this lead generation. And so originally when we did it, we had some meta ads going out. They were going to the meta forums, not the best place. Yes, you can grab the information, but it's not taking them to your website. So the first part was reorganizing the ads that we were going out to make sure that the information that was going out about how what the ads were for was strong, because there was a disconnect in the copy that I had originally made for the ads and then what the ads were for. So a lot of people were looking at the ads thinking that it was about being on our podcast network, not realizing that it was for the ad inventory piece of it and buying ads on our network. So we redid that part of it. But then the other part of it was we were taking people away from our website. Not taking people away from our website, we weren't getting people to the website. So the solution to that was to use a specific, like a landing page. So our landing page is just a singular landing page. It's ad space that's connected to our website. So it's a page on the website. But as you read it, it gives you information about the ads. There's a button to click to take you to the spot where you can connect to the form to fill out the form information. Now, in that form information, we're using HubSpot forms, and we're going through the information to kind of triage and get information about the people that are going through the process. So when you go to Ad Space Calendar or www.ageofradio.com/ad space, you go on that, and it's now a landing page. I'm sorry, at www.ageofradio.com ad space. So when you go there, you go through that landing page, learning about what our ads do, you get to a form. That form then asks information about, how much they're spending, what their objectives are, what they've maybe done in the past, to kind of get them to make sure that they understand that what they're doing is they're filling out information to learn more about how to advertise on our podcast network. Once they get to the end of that form, they've already provided us our email and they've provided us our phone number. And so that's key, because once we get that information, we can put them into our nurture sequences, which is I'll explain in a second. So once they get over to there, if they get through the form, they submit the form, and then they get the option to book a call with us right away. If they book a call with us right away, great. We're able to get that information. We're able to set the call. Myself and Atoshi are able to get on a call with them. And eventually, hopefully, just Atoshi would be the one that gets on the call with them as we build our ad sales team. Now, once they're to that specific piece of it, they may not fill out the calendar to do the one-on-one. So that's okay, because they've already submitted the form. So I have their email and I have their phone number, which are the two keys, because now Itoshi and myself can reach out to them to try to get them on the calendar, one, and then two, we can send them other information because they gave us the form or the email information, right? So we can text them, we can email them. And the great thing about emailing them is once we get that email and they know that we're going to be possibly emailing them, once they get that email, they're able to unsubscribe to it easy. So cool, they can get off the email list. The other thing too is when they get on that list, we can actually put them in different campaigns to target them with information to hopefully get them to buy. And that's why that's important. You can also do that with a phone number, and that's why it's also important to get those two pieces of information, because as long as they know that they'll be getting that information, you can go and send them information to try to get them to buy or to set up a call. Now, what's great about work flows, and this is the key thing that I want you to take away from this, is that with workflows, you can create automated processes if they take an action inside of some other type of content. So if they get into the email and we send them an email like our, one of our ad space newsletters, and they click on something inside of it, it's going to tag them inside of MailChimp, which is the emailing system that we use. They get tagged inside of MailChimp with a tag, and then anybody that has that tag starts going through a separate campaign. Once they take an action in that campaign, maybe set up a calendar invite with us, or get on our calendars, setting up one of those one-on-ones, then that tag will fall off and they'll fall outside of that campaign. And the reason why I'm encouraging you guys to research this is because this is the system that's utilized to make sure that your leads are getting nurtured even while you're sleeping, so that you don't have to constantly call them or reach out to them. And I'm sharing this with you because it's something that I'm really working on, and something that I think I know will benefit all businesses. And a lot of businesses really don't understand that. One of the things that I've always wanted to do was create a company that could help the digital processes with businesses, from marketing to their databases, to their processes, to their tech side of stuff. Because I feel that one of the things that has set us apart since we started was we've never really run our business like a small business. I've always tried to run it as a corporation, or like I like to call it an organization that has structured processes in place. We're trying to utilize the best software. We're trying to utilize the newest or the maybe not the newest, but like the best marketing techniques. And we've been able to do that by me learning from the marketing people that we've brought in, and from my own education, and then from learning from CJV and the things that he does as well. And so again, this is something that I encourage you to do, because you need to have a nurturing system in place to constantly be nurturing your leads, to get them then to set up an appointment or to make a purchase. So the way that you do that is you do something where you're getting getting people into a newsletter from either your podcast or your social media content, and then also doing advertising either by giving something away like an ebook, or doing direct ads, letting people know about what it is that you do, getting them over to your landing page. Then once they're on that landing page, getting them to set up an appointment or to fill out a form so that you can get their email and their phone number. And eventually you want to get their address, because you can hit them at all three of those places. And that's more important than being able to hit them vis-a-vis social media. So again, I appreciate your time. This isn't normally the structure that I do for the podcast. I just wanted to share that with you. I wanted to try out this new software. Feel free, go to WaveLabcast 2. Feel free to hit me up on social media at Age of Jeremy. Make sure that you go to our insights, dope insights and updates at Age of Jeremy broadcast channel. And I'll share hopefully some of this WaveLabcast 2 stuff in there. It's also a place where you can get the content that I'm sharing inside of these podcasts. I send that stuff through there as best as I can, really working to drive the Age of Jeremy brand and continue to grow it along with the Age of Jeremy / Mercury brand, because that is a show that I do that's kind of separate from the content of this show, the context of this show. Like, the context of this show is about my business adventures, I guess, and then the side quest piece of it is making sure that I'm interviewing other entrepreneurs and other content creators to learn about what they're doing, because I find a passion for that, and maybe it'll kind of develop even more into other types of interviews as well. So again, if you liked this podcast, make sure that you like and subscribe to it. If you're new to this podcast, make sure that you share it with a friend. I guess if you're listening to it and you've listened to it before, share it with a friend so it can get in front of more people. It's growing every single month, this podcast. So I really appreciate all the people that are listening to it, especially when I take some breaks in between and then come back with, unregular content or irregular content, I guess might be better. So I appreciate you guys. As I always say, be thankful, grateful, and kind, and we'll talk with you next time. Bye.